Foxborough still has that Super Bowl taste in its mouth, but the noise today isn't grief, it's urgency. There's a contract situation that can blow up the cornerback market and become the real temperature check for this defense. There's a backfield move that sounds like a luxury, but it comes with a price tag nobody wants to talk about. There's a coaching decision that ties straight into Drake May's development. And there's one off-season bet that, if it hits, changes how this team wins in January. So let me ask you right up front. Do you trust Mike Vrabel to pull the right levers this time? Because if you think the Patriots can wait it out, here's the thing. The window to extend Christian Gonzalez is right now. Not later. Not after the draft. Now. And I'm not being dramatic. The whole world just watched what Patriots Nation has known since 2023. When the lights get hot, Gonzalez doesn't blink. Over 40 coverage reps in the Super Bowl, he got targeted 5 times and gave up 1 catch for 16 yards. That's it. And he was inches away from making 2 of the best plays in the entire game, regardless of jersey color. And this is where the urgency becomes real. In the NFL, contracts work like real estate. You don't pay for vibes, you pay for comps. You pay for the market. And Gonzalez's comps aren't random names. The conversation puts him next to J.C. Horn and Pat Surtain II. When you're getting measured against guys like that, you're not negotiating a fair deal. You're negotiating top of market. Now think about the math that's being laid out. Using APY as a percentage of the cap and applying it to a projected $305 million salary cap, you're looking at a baseline in the $27.3 to $28.7 million per year range. And then you add the playoff bump. Yeah, narratives matter in this league. He's young, he's a first-round talent, and he just put together a playoff run where his catch rate allowed dipped under 40%, and he capped it with a strong Super Bowl performance. That kind of run can push that number up another 2 or 3 million per year. So ask yourself, do you really want to let this turn into a bidding war later? Because if Gonzalez repeats what he just did, the price doesn't stay still, it climbs. And I can already hear the split in the fan base. That's a lot of money for a corner. Sure, until you remember what it costs not to have one. Without a true shutdown guy, you become a hostage to scheme. You're asking safeties to cheat. You're forcing blitzes you don't want. You're living on 3rd and long prayers. Gonzalez gives you freedom. Man or zone. Size. Tackling. Calm. He's the kind of player who lets your coordinator sleep at night and makes the opposing QB hold the ball that extra half second. In January, that half second decides games. Now, zoom out, because the roster picture is actually rare right now. The Patriots are set up going into the offseason. Top 10 in effective cap space, 12 draft picks, and your quarterback's still on a rookie contract. That's the kind of setup teams spend years chasing. But here's the detail nobody's really discussing. Spending smart isn't the same as spending big. On paper, adding a flashy name to the backfield sounds fun, especially after watching Kenneth Walker rip through the Super Bowl for 135 yards on 27 carries, win MVP, and make the whole thing look effortless. And with the regular season run game being underwhelming at times, the idea hits even harder. Ramondre Stevenson carried a lot of weight in the postseason. Meanwhile, Travion Henderson couldn't get going in the playoffs. 66 rushing yards across 4 games, 1.7 yards per carry. That's not just not great, that's a problem. So yeah, there's talk. It's being floated. Nothing is confirmed yet, but it's out there. New England could try to upgrade at running back, and Walker is the name that keeps coming up. Financially, the path is pretty clear if they wanted to force it. The Stevenson contract looks a lot better now than it did before the bye, and if they found a trade partner, they could clear about $2.6 million off his $7.4 million cap hit. Cutting him doesn't help, but a trade, even a late-round pick swap, could open snaps and money to chase an upgrade. Here's the thing, though. The Patriots don't need a $12 million plus running back right now. Not because Walker isn't talented, he is. Explosive, physical, creates yards after contact, the whole package. But because every dollar you put into a running back is a dollar you're not putting into the offensive line, the TE2 spot, or that top receiver who wins on 3rd and long when the defense knows what's coming. Be honest. What's the point of paying premium for a runner if the blocking still leaks? If the pocket collapses and the backfield gets hit at the mesh point, great backs still need air. They still need angles, and that's where the Patriots have to be disciplined, because the temptation after a Super Bowl loss is to chase the wow move. And that debate is going to split Patriots Nation right down the middle. Some fans want the immediate jolt, the headline, the highlight, the jersey sales. Other fans want the boring stuff that wins: protection, structure, and sustainable offense. I'm in the second group. If you've got a young franchise QB, you build the floor first. Which brings me to a decision that looks small on the surface, but matters more than people think. The Patriots kept quarterbacks coach Ashton Grant, even with outside interest. And I'm telling you, that's a bigger statement than a lot of splashy signings. Everybody looks at 14-3 and the playoff run and thinks it's all talent. But sometimes the most important step is the one you don't take. You don't reset. You don't blow up what's working. Development isn't a trend, it's repetition. It's continuity. It's language, timing, and trust. Drake May was the constant all year. 4,394 passing yards, 31 touchdowns, 8 picks. Big arm, real touch, and when the play breaks down, he's got that athletic instinct to turn chaos into chunk plays. In the playoffs, the numbers weren't perfect. 43 of 77, 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. But his poise stayed. He didn't fold. He made big throws when it mattered, and he got the Patriots to the Bay Area with a chance to win a 7th Lombardi. Most of the credit goes to the offensive coordinator, and that's fair. But the fine work, the stuff you don't see in highlights, happens in the details. Pre-snap answers, protection adjustments, progressions, risk management in the red zone. Grant helped bridge systems, translate concepts, and give May more tools at the line of scrimmage. That matters. You don't casually swap that out. And here's the contradiction a lot of fans don't want to hear. Stability isn't conservative. It can be aggressive, if it's stability around the right thing. Keeping Grant is the Patriots saying, "Our engine is May. We're not changing the parts that helped him level up." Now, all of this is connected, because you can have a corner you pay at the top of the market. You can have a QB on the rise. You can even flirt with the idea of a backfield upgrade. But if you don't fix the trenches, your ceiling drops fast. And the Super Bowl loss put that in bold letters. No sugarcoating it. Protection and pass rush were the two wounds. The Patriots gave up far too many sacks, 47 in the regular season and 21 more in the playoffs, and that's not survivable if you want to live in championship games. You can't keep asking your young quarterback to play with a timer in his head. And on defense, when the game begged for pressure-changing plays, the difference showed up. Sacks end drives. Sacks create turnovers. Sacks flip field position. In January, a sack at the right moment is basically a momentum theft. So here's my bet. If the front office invests heavily in the offensive line, real starter-level upgrades and real depth, and brings in at least one edge rusher who forces game plans to change, the whole board shifts. The offense breathes. The play action becomes real again. The third and long playbook opens up because you actually have time to let routes develop. And your defense stops being forced to play perfect coverage for 4 seconds every snap. This is where Patriots Nation is going to argue the hardest. Some people will want a shiny new weapon. Some will scream, trenches or nothing. I'm firmly in the trenches camp, because if you win up front, everything else becomes easier. That's not old school football talk. That's modern NFL math. And now we circle back to the point that sounds almost too simple, but it's the truth. The craziest part isn't one specific signing. It's the timing and the combination. If New England locks up Christian Gonzalez before the market turns into a hostage situation, you protect the identity of the defense. If they resist chasing the easiest backfield headline and prioritize the offensive line and a true top receiver, you support the growth of the offense the right way. If they keep continuity around Drake May's development, you speed up his climb instead of resetting his process. And if they go heavy in the trenches, you turn a painful Super Bowl loss into an off-season response that actually travels in January. So I'll ask you again, and I want you to answer in the comments like you mean it. Are you chasing headlines, or are you chasing trophies? If you're riding with Patriots content like this, make sure you hit like, subscribe, and tell me where you land. What's your offseason priority list? And what's the one move you'd hate to see them make?